Whisper in the shadow. The haunted hotel loomed before me like a spectral sentinel, its decaying facade bearing witness to years of sinister secrets. Intrigued by the ominous stories that surrounded it, I decided to spend the night within its cursed walls. As I checked in, the receptionist's eyes held a knowing glint, but she said nothing. My room was on the top floor, overlooking the desolate town below. The air felt heavy with a sense of foreboding as I entered the dimly lit chamber. As I settled in, I noticed a strange mirror on the wall. It was ornate and covered with a thick layer of dust. I wiped it clean and gasped at the reflection. It revealed a shadowy figure, its eyes empty voids, standing behind me. But when I turned around, nothing was there. I decided to explore the hotel, descending into its basement. In the dimly lit corridor, I heard faint whispers, as if secrets long buried were trying to claw their way. Back to the surface, my heart raced, and I followed the whispers to an old storage room. The door creaked open, revealing a room filled with vintage dolls. Their lifeless eyes seemed to follow my every move. One doll, in particular, stood out, an antique porcelain doll with a cracked face and missing eye. It seemed to beckon me, and I couldn't resist picking it up. That night, as I lay in bed, the doll sat on the nightstand beside me. The room grew cold, and I heard soft giggles, like the laughter of a child. The doll's eyeless gaze fixed on me, and it whispered secrets in a voice that chilled me to the bone. I couldn't take it anymore. I threw the doll across the room, and the whispers ceased. But when I checked the mirror, the shadowy figure had moved closer. Panic surged through me as I realized I was not alone in that room. Morning couldn't come soon enough. I gathered my belongings and fled the haunted hotel, leaving behind the cursed doll and the sinister whispers. To this day, I can't shake the feeling that something followed me out of that dreadful place. The Room of Regret. The haunted hotel had always intrigued me, with its history of tragic events and restless spirits. I booked a room on the 13th floor, eager to experience the paranormal firsthand. As I entered my room, a chill washed over me. The air was heavy with sorrow, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. Ignoring my unease, I unpacked and settled in. Nightfall descended, and I awoke to the sound of a faint melody, like a haunting lullaby. Following the eerie tune, I discovered an old, dusty piano in the corner of the room. It played by itself, its keys moving as if played by invisible hands. My fear grew as the music intensified. It wasn't just a melody. It was a lament, a symphony of sorrow. The room seemed to weep, and I couldn't escape the feeling that I was reliving someone else's grief. I decided to leave the room, but the door wouldn't budge. Panic surged as I realized I was trapped with the mournful melody. Desperation forced me to confront the piano, but the keys moved of their own accord, playing a cacophony of despair. In a moment of clarity, I realized that the room was a vessel for the regrets and sorrows of those who had perished within its walls. The piano played the music of their anguish, and I was trapped in their torment. As the night wore on, the music grew more intense, drowning out my own thoughts. I couldn't escape the room's grip, and I knew that I, too, would become a part of its tragic history. Morning came, and the music ceased. I was released from the room, shaken and haunted by the experience. I left the haunted hotel, vowing never to return. But the room's mournful melody still lingers in my nightmares. The lost key. The haunted hotel had always been a fascination of mine, and I decided to spend a night there to unravel its mysteries. I checked into a room on the 4th floor, eager for a taste of the supernatural. The room was charming, with antique furniture and an air of old-world elegance. But as I unpacked, I noticed something odd. The key to the room was tarnished and ancient. Unlike the modern keycards used in the hotel, intrigued, I decided to investigate. As I examined the key, a whisper filled the room, a soft, melodic hum that seemed to emanate from the key itself. I couldn't resist its pull, and followed the sound to a hidden panel in the wall. Behind the panel, I found a dusty, forgotten diary. Its pages were filled with the ramblings of a woman named Eloise, who had stayed in the same room decades ago. She spoke of a forbidden love, a secret rendezvous, and a tragedy that had befallen her. Intrigued, I continued to read, and the room seemed to come alive with echoes of Eloise's memories. I heard her laughter, felt her heartache, and experienced her despair. It was as if her spirit still lingered within the room, sharing her story with me. The diary revealed that Eloise had hidden a key, the same key I had found, as a symbol of her undying love. But tragedy had struck, and she had never been reunited with her lover. She had died alone and heartbroken in that very room. As I closed the diary, I felt a presence in the room, the spirit of Eloise. She appeared before me, her eyes filled with longing. She reached out for the key, and I handed it to her, tears in my eyes. With a smile, Eloise disappeared, her spirit finally finding peace. The room grew still, and the whispers ceased. I left the haunted hotel with a sense of closure, knowing that I had played a part in helping a lost soul find solace.